Hi again, everyone. Welcome back to another edition of Mr. K on Sports. And today I want to take a look at the Major League Baseball standings. We are about at the quarter pole, 40-some games for most teams, a little bit before Memorial Day, so it's always a good time to take a look at the standings. And I think the main theme so far in Major League Baseball, and Pete Rozelle, the ex-commissioner of the NFL, would be proud, I think the theme is parity. No team really has an unbelievably super record, and there's a few teams that have a pretty poor record, but nothing that they can't come back from. A lot of standings are bunched in the various divisions, so let's take a look at the divisions. We'll start in the American League, and let's look at the American League East. Right now, at the top of the American League East is a surprise, and that would be the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox sit atop the American League East with a 25-17 record, although the American League East is tightly bunched. The Toronto Blue Jays, who I picked as a sleeper team this year, are a game and a half back at 22-17. The Rays are hanging in there, and I expected them to fall back this year. They're at 23-19. They're 2 games out. The New York Yankees have been the disappointment so far. They're only 22-19, but still only 2.5 games off the pace. And then the Baltimore Orioles bring up the rear as expected, but they're hanging in there at 17-23, 7 games off the pace. So the American League East is bunched up. The Red Sox have been the surprise. The Yankees have been the disappointment. And it's still jumbled enough where I think things will settle to be where I predicted, where the Yankees will come out on top. And I think the Blue Jays will be there to stay to contend. In the American League Central, the Chicago White Sox are 25-15. They sport Major League Baseball's best record winning percentage-wise. They are in first place. 3.5 games over the 21-18 Cleveland Baseball Club, known as the Indians for the last year this year. Cleveland had a better record, but they've hit the skids a little bit of late, but still in second place. The Royals, the Kansas City Royals, who got off to a hot start, have since faded a bit. They're 18-22, and they've fallen 7 games back in the American League Central. The Detroit Tigers, 15-26. They're already 10.5 back. To be expected, the Tigers have a poor roster, and they're rebuilding. And the Minnesota Twins, probably the biggest disappointment in all of baseball. I picked them for second place. Many people had the Twins winning the AL Central. The Twins right now are 13-26, which is a .333 winning percentage. They're 11.5 games back already, and that is the worst record in all of baseball. The Twins have struggled. It's been a surprise, but again, not too late to right the ship. Finally, in the American League West, the Oakland Athletics have been a surprise. They're in first place at 25-17, a slim half game ahead of the Houston Astros, who are 24-17 in second. The Astros being my pick for the division, so they're right there. The Seattle Mariners are even 500, 21-21. They're 4 games back. The Los Angeles Angels are 18-22. They've made a little move of late to pull within 6 games. They're a team that I thought would do a bit better. And the Texas Rangers in the basement, but only 19-24 and only 6.5 games back. So tightly bunched in the American League West. And again, I look for the Astros to come out on top in this division, and they're right there where they want to be. Switching to the National League, looking at the East, this is a division where only 4 games separate these 5 ball clubs. In first place right now, and they've played a little less games, the New York Mets are 19-16. Not a great record. Like I said, this division's tightly bunched. The Philadelphia Phillies are second. They're 21-20. They're a game off the pace. The Atlanta Braves have been a disappointment. I picked them to win the division. They're only 19-22. The good news for Braves fans is they're only 3 games out of first place. The Florida Marlins have been a surprise. They've been hanging in there. I expected them to be well off the pace by now. They're 18-22, only 4.5 games out. And finally, the Washington Nationals, somewhat of a disappointment so far. I expected them to be a playoff team. They're 16-21, but only 4 games back. So it's anyone's division so far. I expect Atlanta and Washington to move up the ladder and Florida to move down. Turning to the National League Central, I envision this division to be more like the National League East is right now. The Central is tightly bunched as well, with first and last place being only 5.5 games as far as a difference. The St. Louis Cardinals have played good ball, though, and they have opened up a 2-game lead. They're in first at 23-18. The Milwaukee Brewers have fallen back a bit in the second. They're 21-20, 2 games off the pace. Then the Chicago Cubs, an even 500 at 20-20, they're 2.5 back. I would expect those 3 teams to continue to battle a bit. And the Reds are right there also at 19-20, only 3 games out. The Pittsburgh Pirates, who are expected to be horrible, have actually hung in a bit. They're 17-23, still in last place, but 5.5 games off the pace. And the Pirates last year in the COVID-abbreviated 60-game season were only 19-41. So 2 more wins and they'll already equal their total from last year. So things are looking up in Pittsburgh a bit. Finally, in the National League West, the surprise team in the National League has been the San Francisco Giants. The Giants, I figured, would be a middle of the pack, maybe a little lower team. They're 25-16. They hold first place. The San Diego Padres are second. They're 25-17, only a half game back, and the Padres were expected to be a contender. The Los Angeles Dodgers got off to a great start, but they've fallen off a bit, and they're now 23-18, still only 2 games back, but in third place. Again, I picked the Dodgers to win it all this year, and they certainly can still. The Arizona Diamondbacks a bit back at 18-24, 7.5 games off the pace. I don't expect the Diamondbacks to contend, and I certainly don't expect Colorado, the Rockies, to contend. And right now they are in the basement, the worst record in the National League. They're 15-27 and 10.5 games out already in the National League West. So right now, again, the theme is parity. A lot of the divisions are tightly bunched. All the contenders seem to be within striking distance at the quarter pole of the season. We'll keep an eye on things and certainly have an update around the All-Star break. This is Mr. K for Sports signing off. Good night.